Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Esmond.
I'm Paul.
And this is Friendly vs Powerful, our double deck tech series where we take one commander, we build two decks, one at a friendly power level, one at a powerful power level, and we use this scale. It is from precon, which is our baseline, all the way to cEDH, which is our top end. And those are the benchmarks that we're using, so we're going to focus on what's in between, because sometimes, it gets a bit muddled.
Mismatching expectations and whatnot,
Not all decks are a 7. And today we are building the new mirror commander. It is Urtet, Remnant of Memnarch. And Paul will start us off with the friendly version.
Yeah. So Urtet is a mirror tribal commander essentially that also allows access to all 5 colors and has some synergy with +1/+1 counter synergies. So I've built the deck kind of on a lower mana curve, so I'm going to scroll down here. Where's the mana curve? You can see that the mana curve is a very typical mana curve, kind of tops out at 2 and 3. So we've got things that basically care about going wide. So Ajani the Great-Hearted says creatures we control have vigilance, so our stuff doesn't tap and we can just activate Urtet's ability after attackers are declared. We also have +1/+1 synergies with Jiang Yanggu. So Jiang Yanggu is going to give us the ability to turn all our mirrors into mana dorks, and that's going to be a lot of mana that's available to us to sink into various abilities. We've got Alibu, which basically gives our creatures haste, so that as we create mirrors, they can attack on the same turn, they can tap for mana on the same turn. We've got mirrors that tap for mana by themselves, so that we are not completely reliant on Urtet. Armorcraft Dredge is a nice card to give us card advantage if we have +1/+1 counter synergies. So this could easily draw us 5 cards coming down, 3/3 creature, draw 5 cards, really good. Rooted cares about artifact creatures as well and makes us even more mirrors, so that's part of our mirror creation kind of package. Cash Raiders and Espazoa, which is further down, are basically just for value looping because there are not an insane number of very good mirrors that have been printed. So in order to get Urtet's ability to trigger over and over again, what I've done is I've picked up these pieces which allow me to return the mirror to my hand, play it out again, and then trigger Urtet's ability to make more and more mirrors.
Nice.
Conclave Mentor is just another staple of +1/+1 counter synergies that care about going wide, typical Selesnya type of strategy. Basic mirrors, Espazoa is the same as the Cash Readers. Herald of Secret Streams is evasion for creatures with +1 counters. This is a mirror, this is a mirror, this is a mirror. Mentor of the Meek is just a way to draw cards whenever a mirror enters the battlefield. Card draws. So considering that so many mirrors add mana and we've got Jiang Yanggu as well, it should be very easy for us to pay the 1 to just draw cards. Mirror Battlesphere is the biggest mirror, right? So the more mirrors you have, the more powerful the Battlesphere. Perfect. Yeah. Excellent, the mirror tribal synergy. Yes. This is a mirror. This is a mirror, so we continue into making more mirrors. Infect Mirror, because sometimes you will have insane amounts of life. You're making many creatures, you want to draw more cards. Rumor Gatherer is just, I don't know, I would consider it like a budget staple at this point, right? A lot of mirrors are artifacts. There's a lot of artifact synergies in here, so having flash on your artifacts and being a mirror, fantastic card down here in Shimmer Mirror. Yep. Steel Overseer puts +1/+1 counters on all artifact creatures, mirrors basically. And we have 5 colors, so Sun Touch Mirror could be really big, literally.
Maximum 3 though.
Huh?
3 though.
Maximum 3?
Yeah. You can't pay more.
Oh yeah, you can't pay more than 3. Yeah, maximum 3, but still, it's pretty good. 3 mana, 3, yeah, sure, why not? And it comes in with +1/+1 counters. Yeah, yes. So that matters, right? Urza is just a lord, and it makes more things. Burden at Stake is just a meme card. It is here as a finisher because I expect to be making many mirrors, so I'm hoping this can do 30 damage all of a sudden and no one should expect it coming.
Nice.
Typical ramp package with Circuitous Root, Cultivate, Explosive Vegetation. These are just ways to find basic lands which we will need to fix our colors for our 5 color mirror synergies. And then a very simple removal package with Disenchant, Tear Asunder, Dispatch because we're playing a lot of artifacts. Inspiring Call is protection and card draw with +1/+1 counter synergies. Make a Stand is base playable protection, like your Heroic Intervention, but cheap. Path of Exile, simple, clean removal. Return to Dust, just very good value on your removal. Swords is standard issue removal. your typical mana rocks. So this is actually used for value looping as well, but does apply a nice little tax effect to your opponents and gives you a way to kind of deal damage without attacking them, which is nice.
Right, cool.
Right? Chromatic Lantern just for more color fixing. Crystal Shard to loop the mirror value again and again. More color fixing. Makes mirrors. Makes more mirrors. Makes mirrors as well. Gives mana to cast mirrors. So yeah, Mirror Tribal. Skull Clamp is just your insane card draw engine, right? Just equipped to your 1/1 mirrors, you just draw a bazillion cards. Soul Ring is standard issue. More ways to get more card draw. And an instant way to get all the colors you need to tap Urtet and untap Urtet, right? So
Yep.
brilliant. Timeless Lotus right there, untap all your mirrors and bring it to end step, and then you then pay your mana to put like 6 counters on everything on one turn, basically. Unwinding Clock, now that I look at it, isn't really great, but it's a go wide deck, so having blockers is really nice. It's a kind of like a blocking strategy that you can use, and just more of the typical ramp. Cryptolith right, you have many creatures, you want much mana, Cryptolith right is the way to go. Make more mirrors, more Lord effects, right, Anthem effects, and Tokasia's Welcome is, well, card draw. And then you have the mana base, so I have not really stinged very much down here. World Tree provides color fixing. Verdant Catacombs into the Triomes, right? Windswept Heath into the Triomes should give us the mana that we need. Most of the colors are in green-white. Green is basically used to play the Cultivate to fix the mana, so that's the synergy that I've used to assemble the mana base. So yeah, so the color distribution you can see most of the deck is actually green-white, so more of a Celestia base, and the mirrors are artifacts, so everything else is colorless. Yeah, that's basically how the thing is packaged. So anthems, effect looping, ramp, and yeah, just trying to get value for putting counters on mirrors.
Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, we're going to go through both decks and then we'll have a quick discussion. So let's move on to my version, which is meant to be the more powerful version. And basically, the biggest difference is that we start with combo lines. So this is the first combo, Galvanizer plus Matrix plus Palladium Mirror plus a copy. So this copy, you have to have it come in as a copy of the Galvanizer. So you got 2 Galvanizers. Then what you do is you tap your mirrors for mana. It doesn't have to be this one, as long as you have enough mirrors that tap for mana. You tap them, and then you use one of them to untap all the other mirrors, which includes the copy of the Galvanizer and all your mana dog mirrors. And basically, as long as you have more than 2 mana, you get infinite mana, and then you just sink it all into the Matrix, and you get infinite mirrors.
Many mirrors.
Many mirrors. So yeah, that's the first way to get infinite mirrors. The second one is even simpler. You just have to have a token doubling effect plus a turbine. You tap this turbine, you get 2 mirrors. Then you tap those 2 mirrors to untap the turbine, and then you tap it again, you get 2 more, and then you tap them, and then to untap this, and then you tap, and then you untap, and you get a lot of mirrors.
And then you die to Rakdos Charm.
But yeah, so for me, the way I approach this deck is to focus on the combo lines. And for me, it's a 5-color deck, but I really want my combo to work with the commander. Like, you can just throw in Oracle and Consultation. You can throw in so many different combos in a 5-color deck, right?
Yeah.
But for me, I have to make it on theme. This is a mere tribal deck. All these cards you see here, they work well by themselves in the deck. They're not dead cards. We're playing mere tribal, we have mere support. Metamorph is just value, you copy. It's on theme as well, Phyrexian, all will be 1. And then Clock of Omens, good in an artifact deck. We're playing tokens, this doubles our tokens, it's good. And +1 counters, doubles +1 counters.
Yep.
And then Mirror Turbine makes mirrors. So everything fits in the deck, and they combo as well. So next up, we have all the Mere Matters cards. So this is the tribal core of our deck. This is for ramp. We have removal, which is a mirror. So we cast this, we get a mirror. We have ramp, we have card draw. Every time a token comes in, a mirror token, it draws a card as well. More ramp. Lodestone Mirror is interesting because 4 mana, and then we can just tap all the other mirrors we have if we have a bunch of token mirrors, right? And then on combat, they all untap. We can tap them all again. It gets huge, and then we can just trample. Mirror Entity is a mirror. We can also, if we have a whole bunch of token mirrors, we can just pump them up.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, Mirror Battlesphere is biggest mirror. This is the ramp mirror. Galvanizer, mirrors, mirror tutor, mirror lord plus the infinite mana outlet. This makes more mirrors. This returns mirrors. It's in his
Same
deck.
deck,
Yeah.
same deck, same card.
This is Recursion, Mirror Turbine, Ramp Mirror, Flash Mirror, Ramp Mirror. Then we have tokens and tapping shenanigans. So we saw Doubling Season up there that can easily be replaced by Anointed Procession or Parallel Lives. And we saw Clock of Omens, Cryptolyph Rite for more mana. This Ether Grid, very typical in go white artifact decks. What you do is you just tap them to deal damage. And then works very well with Urtet because Urtet untaps all the mirrors on our combat. Mechanized Production is one way to make use of all our token mirrors and turn them into a win con. We just need 8 or more mirrors with the same name.
Quite easy to do.
Yep, pretty easy. Urza, also just for the Lord effect, and then Unwinding Clock for the untap effect. For blockers, Ram package, we have Arcane Signet, Lantern for fixing, Lotus. We really want Urtet on turn 1 if possible. Lotus, Crypt, and Vault will help us get there on turn 1. Besides that, Talk to turn other things into artifacts. Mox Opal, because we have a lot of artifacts. Soul Ring, and then Vexing Puzzle Box. I love this card. You tap it, you add 1/1 of any color and roll a d20, and then you can tap it to remove 100 charge counters and search for an artifact card. So it's a tutor on a mana rock.
Very nice.
Yeah. And especially with this, with something like Unwinding Clock, you just tap it on every person's turn.
Yeah,
you get there in like
cards
one
are
turn
really
cycle.
fast, cards are really fast.
Yeah. Then we have some efficient removal, Anguish Unmaking, Assassin's Trophy. We have board wipe, 1 board wipe here. Hopefully it doesn't hit much of our stuff. Path and Swords are just efficient removal, and another 1-sided board wipe. And then we have a whole bunch of tutors because we have
Combo.
black and we have combo lines, exactly. So black is really the best color for tutors. We got to take advantage of that. 1 tutor, 2 tutors, 3, 4, 5 tutors. Inventor's Fair is a land tutor. Then we just have some utility here. We have counter spells for protection. This does so many things: cost reduction, a bit of card draw, a bit of token making. This as well, card draw, ramp, token making. It makes
This card does everything.
It makes mirrors.
It does everything. Yeah, it makes mirrors. Makes 3/2 mirrors. Very good ones. Very good mirrors.
Then you have protection. You have some protection here, but also some card draw here. When a mirror ETBs, we get to draw a card. Well, we saw Metamorph already. Swan Song, just cheap interaction that counters things like board wipes, things like Ragdoll's Charm. And of course, Teferi's Protection does that as well. Flash is Weak is a really cool one from 40k. So EDBs as an enchantment, we put +1 counters on all our creatures, and then they become artifacts. And then non-artifact creatures get -1/-1. Would work well in your +1 deck, I think.
Yeah, it would probably work well.
Yeah. So yeah, then we move on to the useful lands. We have the channel lands, we have the destruction
Field,
land. We have recursion, and we have more
typical stuff
recursion,
there,
ramp. Mana base, I just went very simple. You know, this is fetch lands, shock lands. We have the relevant triomes, not many of them. And then we have things like Spire of Industry.
Spire is good.
Yeah, Spire is good. Command Tower, Exotic Orchard.
I should probably run Spire myself.
Yeah, so 5 color lands. And we can see the curve here, very similar to yours. Tops up. Well, it's slightly faster, I guess. We have a lot of
more
2s and 3s.
Yeah.
Yep. The only 7, I think, is the Mia Battlesphere. And that one. And
That's a must-have.
Yeah, this is improvised card, so it doesn't really count. So yeah, my distribution is slightly more equal compared to yours.
Because I suck at building 5 color decks. That's what it's like.
I love 5 color decks. But no, very few red cards and less of blue and black, so also more towards white. Yeah. A lot of colorless.
Yeah. Mirrors.
So yeah, I think that's the powerful version. You can tell it's a lot of mere tribal stuff, but the main win con is just to go infinite. Otherwise, hopefully we get a token doubler, we double the tokens, and we just smack in. Yeah, so those are the 2 decks. So let's get into the discussion and kind of compare what makes yours a friendly version, what makes mine a more powerful version. Obviously, we say this every episode, fast mana, tutors, combo lines, that's what we think makes a deck more powerful. But, you know,
there are differences still, like you can see some very obvious differences.
Yeah.
So my deck is actually just built more on resilience. It doesn't really counter or attack anything in particular. It just aims to constantly put its creatures back and just assemble value engines, right? So it's very resilient, and the play pattern is less, it doesn't really care about how you sequence things, I feel. It's more, I have this mirror, I'm gonna play it, right? And I'm just gonna get value from there and loop it again and again. Whereas I think for a combo deck, you have to be more mindful about when you play certain things and what you're representing on the table before you actually get there. So I think the way that you want to pilot the deck is a little bit different. So the cores are actually different because you have a combo core, right? Whereas my core is just value looping, but the flex spot, which I think in your deck is actually at the Mere Matters section, a lot of those cards are actually very similar, right?
Yeah. So this, I think, is very similar to your mirrors as well, because we're all playing mirrors,
Yeah,
right?
we're all playing mirrors. So this is basically the big overlap here. Both decks will perform, but what they're trying to do is still a little bit different.
I do think, like, for example, something like Kindred Discovery, compared to a Mentor of the Meek. Or what's the
that is definitely a step up in terms of the power level of the card draw engine.
Yeah. Although it is 5 mana, so you went for these 3 mana ones that give you the card advantage.
They give me a card
value,
advantage value.
Whereas I went for like the bigger ones that the ceiling is higher.
The ceiling is higher.
Yeah, you get to draw a lot more cards with something like this.
Yeah, definitely. Like you put in one mirror, you get like two cards basically, right? And you can just keep going.
Yeah. But you went with something like Burn at the Stake as a pseudo finisher / meme card.
So your essentially your Burn at the Stake is your Girapur Ether Grid, right?
Yeah. And Mechanized Production, that's kind of my meme card as well. So
I think these are actually similar. I would rate Girapur Ether Grid and Burn at the Stake similar in terms of power level.
Yours is a one-time effect.
Yeah.
Mine, with something like Unwinding Clock, becomes really, really strong and quite oppressive.
So how I'm thinking about this is this is oppressive on the board for sure.
Yeah.
Like I think like if you want to control the board, Girapur Ether Grid does an amazing job of it. But if you want like to kill someone right off the bat, I think that with 10 mirrors you can get a lot more done with Burn at the Stake than you can get done with a Girapur Ether Grid. So it really depends on what effect you want from this.
Especially since it's a sorcery speed.
Yeah.
It makes things a bit fairer.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, you're gonna win now on your turn.
Yeah.
I can't kill you.
Yeah.
It's sorcery speed, whereas mine can kind of still respond to that.
I think this has threat of activation. The threat of activation is the big deal for Girapur Ether Grid. Like you have a small utility creature, you don't want to put it out the Girapur Ether Grid there. So it kind of applies a stacks and control effect right off the bat.
Because you're afraid that if you put that out, it's just gonna die.
Yeah.
So maybe we talk about some considerations. Because for me, I felt that Parallel Lives, Doubling Season, Anointed Possession, it's so much redundancy. That's why I leant a bit harder into the token making things. Like I do have a lot of things that make tokens, right? And go wide. I tried to add more because this was my main combo line, right? So if I didn't put this combo line in, I would have had more space for things like Mirrorsmith, for things maybe more RAM, maybe things like.
But I mean, Mirrorsmith doesn't go infinite, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah. Did you have anything that you were kind of on the fence about?
So I did consider the token doubling effects as well because naturally that lends power to the deck. But I realized it was actually very impossible to go infinite without them. You really do need the token doubling effects to go infinite with Urtet. So it was and the cost, actually these cards, a lot of times they have prohibitive costs. So if you open them, you get them from a pack, sure, put them in. They go great with the deck even if you're not playing combo lines.
Oh, you mean financial cost?
Yeah, financial cost.
Financial
cost, right? But I feel like Urtet doesn't really need them if you want to just play. If you want to go for a combo line, you need them. But in the absence of you can still do fun stuff with Urtet and it's not really required. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we can just it's pretty straightforward. We're playing a lot of mirrors. Mine has combos, yours has +1 counters. I would say that my powerful version is actually more towards the friendlier side of things. It's not super strong. Yes, we have a lot of tutors. Yes, we have a lot of fast mana. Yes, you can technically maybe win by turn 4 or 5 if your hand is.
You have to be super lucky, and your opponents need to have no interaction.
Exactly. So technically, it is powerful. It can win fast, but it's also not super resilient. The pieces are expensive. It's like a 3-4 piece combo. It's just pushing the scale to the powerful side.
I would say that your deck can feel oppressive at a table that runs very little interaction.
Yeah, for sure. Because
right?
once I get one of these pieces out and
Yeah.
you don't deal with it,
Yeah.
it's I play another piece and you're like, oh shit, now I'm dead. Yeah.
But like even a low powered deck, let's say if your deck and my deck was at the same table and I have my Return to Dust and my Disenchant and stuff like that, right? There is actually a very good chance I will be able to keep up.
Yeah.
And actually, because my plan is more fair, I might actually be able to put out more tempo before you can assemble your Infinite Mirror combo. It might just be you to death. That could potentially happen as well.
Well, if we're playing each other,
Yeah.
then all mirrors are gonna get a lot of power.
Oh yeah, very big mirrors, very big mirrors. But my mirrors are specialized in being big, whereas you need a engine to kind of go wide, right? So I would say like they're not that far off either. It's just like the axis of which they hope to play is just a little bit different.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think maybe the cost, you can see the price of mine is pushing 1,006.
Yeah.
Whereas yours is what, below 300.
Yeah, it's just my habit. I always build budget. Stylistic
So
choices.
Most of that is gonna come from the mana base. Yours is 136 compared to my 426.
That's
maybe
not,
mine's
that's
the
not
tutors.
too bad.
It
Yeah,
could
I
be
think
the
yours is
tutors.
mostly in the tutors,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So that's where the cost plays a part. You can always just replace these with some of your cards.
Yeah.
So like you said, very close in power level. So yep, just to recap, powerful decks, we have fast mana, we have tutors, very efficient tutors, and we have combo lines. I think that's what defines a powerful deck for us. But doesn't mean it's super strong. It's still very close to each other.
Yep.
And yeah, let us know what you think. Would you build this commander? How would you build this commander? Would you kind of mash our two decks together?
Yeah, you can put your deck text in the Discord. You can take a look as well.
Oh yes, exactly. Yeah. So these commanders are suggested by patrons on the Discord, and if you want to join in the discussion, we just randomly pick commanders from there and build decks and play them on the channel as well. Let us know what you think. I tried to organize my deck a bit better so that it's easier to go through it and understand it. So yeah, let us know what other commanders you want to see and how we can improve this series even further. Thanks for watching. Bye.